Good afternoon, YouTube. I just want to do a quick, this is just going to be a quick 3-month update on the Fluval M90, just to give you a quick little update of what's been going on. So things are progressing probably in the right direction. The algae that I've been sort of getting all over the rocks and the sand is slowly subsiding. It's starting to go the other way now. I've had a couple of issues since the last video, the main one being my alkalinity was slightly dropping. So I tested 1 week and it was at around 8.4 DKH. So I sort of thought, okay, I'm gonna have to start dosing soon. I went to the following week and I tested a week after, and it had actually dropped to 7. The slow decline, so the bit of Monty, red Monty that I got on the left side of the rock there, that's not been doing that well. It's sort of stripping back from the edges. It's nowhere near as colourful as what it used to be. And I'm not sure if it's the alk drop that sort of caused it not to be happy, and it could have also been the magnesium levels had dropped a little bit, but not they were still running just over 1200, so they hadn't gone down, you know, crazy amount. It is at the point now with this system where I'm going to have to start getting onto the Red Sea program for the ABC and start dosing individually, and come off the coralline grow that I've been redosing to get the alkalinity back up. So this week's testing and water change, I've been dosing 3 ml of the coralline grow for the previous week, and I retested this week and the alkalinity is back up to 9. So in the long run, I want to sort of do a bit of a softy LPS sort of bits and pieces of corals really. But the Red Sea, if you follow Red Sea's sort of guidelines for getting your tank recipe, it sort of says alkalinity along the lines of 11 to 11.2, I believe, on their recipe for a sort of more of an LPS tank. So I'm going to sort of gradually increase the alkalinity a little bit more. I'm going to sort of go for I'm going to aim for 10 to 11, and if I can stabilize it at 10 or 11, then I'll probably just keep running it as that. Nitrates are still running between 5 and 10, and phosphate at the moment on the Salifert test kit is still reading pretty much 0. So I've yet to get a Hannah checker for the low end phosphate, so that's something I have got to get. There's been a bit of a difference in stocking. So the what happened was my friend has recently set up a reefer 350, and he was starting from scratch. So he'd done the cycle process, and he had a couple of bits of stock, and he was begging me. So I was looking, the one spot foxface I had in this tank from the last video you would have seen, wasn't really that happy. He did tend to hide a lot, wasn't out that much, and he was quite skittish. So my friend's reefer 350, he's got a lot more rock work in his, so he sort of did quite a big scape, a lot more crevices, a lot more height, lots of in and out pass-throughs for the rock. So he was begging me to, because he was after a fox face and he couldn't source one at that time. So he was begging me for mine, and he also wanted my Coral Beauty, which I didn't really want to let go because I did like the Coral Beauty, but reluctantly I said he could. However, some of the stocking he had, he did have this silver spot tang, or the bristle tooth tang, and I said, well, you know, I said, if you're having them, what about your tang? You know, can I have your tang, just so I've got something in here, and also just to see whether the tang's going to be a bit more better at sort of picking off bits of algae here and there. So that's where the one spot foxface and coral beauty have gone. I'm hoping once we source another coral beauty, I'm hoping to get mine back, or I'll probably end up with another one. So once we've sourced one, we'll end up either swapping back, or I'll just have the new coral beauty. But the foxface in his system is doing really well. So he's out a lot more. Generally seems a lot more happy. He sent me a couple of videos, and I've been round again once since he's had them. So and the tang in here, so I've still got the yellow-tailed damsels and just the tang at the moment in here. But my clownfish, so the clownfish were doing great in here. They were still small. What I decided to do, I ended up putting them on a local selling page, and they ended up going to another home. They've gone into a slightly smaller system. I think they've gone into a reefer 170, something along them lines. It was a 2 foot wide tank, so they've gone to a different home. Reason being is I want to get a pair of slightly different clownfish, so I'm probably going to go for some of the more fancier ones with the I'm not too sure yet on the variants, because there's quite a few, but I'm probably going to go for some that have got a bit more white in them, as well as the orange. But we'll see what happens down the line with that. Tank otherwise is running pretty good. The algae has been the sort of main bearer really, and the problem I find is, which is quite frustrating with these sort of tanks, is what people don't really tell you is the algae ends up taking quite a hold on the frag plugs. So obviously I had some of the corals from Prestige Reef, and there's one at the back here there, and you can see the algae sort of grows on the plug, and it, as much as you try and keep cleaning them, like that one's still got a bit on it. But the problem is you clean them even with a soft toothbrush, and you know, you can get the zoas to close up a bit, but it's still, you end up damaging the coral. So that one at the back there, I've probably, over the last few weeks, I've ended up losing probably 3 heads, just because you're trying to brush gently and one will come off, and then that's pretty much it, then sort of game over. But it's as I said, it is going the other way now. There's still bits and pieces, you can still see bits on the rocks. It's nowhere near as bad as what it was. I have adjusted the lighting a little bit. That Monty isn't doing that great, as you can see. If I take the lens off, it's nowhere near as colourful as what it was. But everything else, I'll just pop that back on. Everything else is doing pretty well. The sand bed is not as bad as what it was either. So, and this sort of GSP type is doing pretty well. I still haven't found the exact type this is, but if anyone knows what it is, then stick it down in the comments, because I'm still a bit unsure. But it's doing really well on the whole. There's another couple of things I've done. So the filtration, I was running a filter pad or filter floss in the second chamber, and I've still got the Eheim compact pump, which is running the UV. I don't think I've shown the UV sterilizer in this tank. So the Vectron 200 is just sat underneath there, and obviously the Eheim pump sort of pumps it through, goes through there, and obviously goes back up. I don't know if I showed you this side, but that's just the my RO top up water there. And that's a 15 litre container, and that lasts it lasts just over, well, it lasts me between doing my weekly water changes anyway. I've never ran out. There's always a good sort of couple of inches left in the bottom. But I was going through quite a lot of RO water, and it was, the salinity wasn't that stabilized. So what I was finding was, and I'll show you in a second, is where the filter floss was, even though the Eheim pump was pumping from the second chamber back into the third, and I had the filter floss between the two, what was happening was it was still not compensating for that filter floss getting clogged after around 3 or 4 days. And what would happen is the end chamber would drop more than what it really was dropping for evaporation, so it was sort of over topping the system up of RO, which is obviously dropping the salinity. So at the minute, what I've decided to do is just to not run the and I will show you now. So the filter floss was just in this chamber here. So now, as you can see, the Eheim pump still goes from that chamber on top of the media down to the UV, and then that comes back into that chamber there. So what was happening was the filter floss was getting clogged in the chamber 2. The RO top off was topping up too much, the salinity was dropping, and so now what I've decided to do is, at the minute, I'm not running any filter floss, so there's no media. The only thing I'm running is the biomedia in the lower chamber and chamber 2, and I'm just running the skimmer. So the Tunzi 9004, I think it is, really good skimmer, does a really good job. That's been running. I'm quite surprised by removing the filter floss, just what a change it's made to the skimmer and what that's pulling out. So it's obviously pulling out more now because not as much is being filtered, you know, from the system as a whole. But as I say, generally it doesn't actually look that clear on camera, but in real time it is actually quite clear. I mean, you can see under the blues the tank is pretty clear. It just doesn't look as clear with the lens on it, but as I say, it's running nice as the whole. I do keep looking at stuff to try and upgrade it too, but as I said, if I step back just in my lounge, you can sort of see the setup. So there's just a media wall over there, and the tank is just sat in that corner. So when you come in the room past this doorway, it's pretty much what you see. But as you can see, like from here now, under that light, it doesn't actually look too bad. You know, it's still there, it's getting there. It's a slow process. There's still a long way to go. There's a few more bits and pieces I need to get, fish stocking and other bits and pieces, but as I said, on the whole, it's doing okay. As I said, tank itself, the annoying things are things like the back wall on this, just as you can see, just end up getting covered in bits of algae, and eventually, hopefully, it'll probably get some more coralline algae growing on it, and if that just starts taking over the back, I'll probably just let it carry on, because you try and clean that back wall being plastic, that's the worst part of the tank really. So if I'll give any recommendation to anyone purchasing a tank, would probably be to make sure it's got a glass back really, and if it's got an overflow weir system going into a sump, ideally that wants to be glass as well. It's just so much easier to clean. You know, I mean, the glass on this tank is actually really good nick. It's as I said, it cleans up well. It's not got any marks. So that was the sort of main reason, condition wise, why I wanted to go for this tank in the first place. As I said, it was cheap to set up initially for a 3-foot tank. But yeah, livestock, everything is doing well. As you can see, the fish are all happy. The tang, it's nice to have a tang. I said previously, I had a bit of a rough ride when I first came into the hobby, and I did have a silver spot bristletooth tang, and unfortunately the tang and the 2 clowns were taken out by velvet. which wasn't that pleasant. It almost made me want to come out the hobby straight away, but he's the tang is he's a nice fish. I don't know if I'll be able to get, probably won't be able to get it, probably see him better on there, but he's a sneaky little fish. He's always out and about. I was doing some maintenance yesterday, and I was in there cleaning the rocks and just giving him a general clean, and for some reason he's obviously scurried around the back somewhere, and he's ended up catching his side on he must have done it on a bit of the rock, so he's got like a slight little mark on his one side, but I'm sure that will probably dissipate and heal in the next few days. But yeah, if you got any if anyone's got any questions on the tank, then stick them in the comments and let me know. But as I said, there'll probably be a bit of a different change in direction from the next video, really. But at the minute, it's all going well. Equipment's all running as it should be. There's just a few more bits of equipment I need. I could do with getting a full inline dosing system, so I can start dosing the Red Sea program basically, and we'll sort of go from there. And hopefully next time there'll be a few more bits of stock. But yep, till the next time, guys. He's just peeking around there. Always busy, that fish. Just a lovely fish. But yeah, till next time, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching.